Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Eedjits Features, starring Ryan and Kern. We are two guys from Scotland who like nah, it's fucking shit. I'm not saying Fat Joe's super popular, but like people are like, who's Fat Joe?
I don't think... You need to remember, when Fat Joe was relevant, though, they were
Even
born or just about to be born.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's how I feel so old, because like, I'm like, fair enough you don't know his catalogue, but everybody remembers Lean Back.
I think you're overestimating Fat Joe, though, if I'm being honest with you.
No, but like, no, that was what for, so I was just like, Fat Joe, but then I was like...
I saw Your Place or Mine. That new Ashton and Reese.
Oh, I seen that too.
Again. You watched this?
I didn't watch it. I was in the room while my wife watched it. I have seen it back to front.
Okay.
From what I picked up on it, I hated it.
I kind of felt some build up for it. It feels so patched together. Like it was just made to suit each actor's respective schedule in whatever location they were in at the time.
Was it a COVID movie? Was it just a movie where they couldn't be together? So it's just like...
Reese's character goes to New York. Is she shooting the morning show in New York?
Possibly. Well, which is another show. Have you seen that?
No.
Wonderful show. Really good.
Both actors are charming, but I would have rather seen them together in the movie. Zoe Chow, Tig Notaro and Steve Zahn are really decent in the side roles.
Steve Zahn plays that Steve Zahn character that he usually plays, like sort of goofy side character.
I like him doing that.
No, that's fine, but like we've seen it, he's always had to stretch himself. He's just playing.
Have you ever seen A Perfect Getaway 2009?
No, you bring this movie up all the time, Vince Vaughn.
No, it's Steve Zahn and Timothy Olyphant.
No?
Steve Zahn plays a different kind of role in it. You should check that out. It's really good. But Your Place or Mine, it was fine. 2 out of 5 coconuts.
2 out of 5 coconuts.
You saw bits of it, but you gain it based on bits of it?
I'll go with 2 as well.
Okay.
Like, movie-wise, not a lot. Because, as I said, I've got kids. The last movie I seen was Puss in Boots, which is very good. But TV-wise, I am watching You on Netflix.
My wife is watching this.
Well, my wife watches it as well, but by association now I'm watching it as well.
This is Penn Badgley.
Yes, weird name. Good actor though.
He is a good actor.
I'll give him it. I mean, I'd only known him from Gossip Girl in the past, but he's very good in this. Like, it's a good show. I like You. It is a good show. It's a bit, sometimes it's a wee bit ridiculous and melodramatic for my taste, but he is very good in it.
He was in quite a low rent Jeff Buckley biopic.
I can see that.
It was okay. He was good in it, but it was okay.
Aye.
It could have been really good.
What about that Jimi Hendrix biopic with Andre 3000 that had no Hendrix license in that?
I've only heard things about it.
I seen it. I watched it.
Is that right?
It's terrible.
Is it bad?
It's really bad.
I like him when he works, man. Like Four Brothers, I really like that.
Four Brothers, 3 Sacks is really good.
I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
And?
It's just computer gloop.
Computer gloop.
There are no standout sequences at all. They've filled, if you ever wondered what the quantum realm would be like, it's just Rick and Morty jokes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Evangeline Lilly is barely in it, despite kicking ass in both previous movies. I like Peyton Mead a lot, and there is stuff to like in this. The journey to the centre of the Earth adventure set piece stuff is pretty cool, but they just don't do enough of it. My wife asked why this was in cinemas versus something like Loki, and I couldn't answer at all. This is the first of the films to make me really wonder why.
Yeah, aye.
It's 2 out of 5 coconuts.
Jackass, the movie.
20 years?
20-year anniversary. By the time this is out, it will be 20-year anniversary.
Released in October 2002 in the US, but released February 2003 in the UK.
This is a video shop number. So this was my routine. Right, later in life, and I mean much later. I'm 30 now. Right, I'm 30. I think only about 5 years ago I realised I think my dad's an alcoholic.
Okay.
Right. And when I say alcoholic, I mean like function alcoholic. Like I didn't realise it was actually my wife that pointed out, like, is your dad got a drinking problem? No, because he's ever drunk. I've never seen him drunk in my life that I know of, unless he's just constantly drunk. So that's just what I think he's like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The reason I'm telling you this story is because the routine we used to do, and I realise now that it's problematic, but every Friday night and Saturday sometimes, my dad would take me down to the video shop. Right? It was it wasn't Blockbuster, it was Global Video, thank you. Yep, Global Video in Dumbarton High Street, that's where I'm from. But we would go down there on the Friday, we'd take the bus down to Global Video. I'd go to Global Video and he would say, have a look. Then he would disappear for about 45 minutes to an hour. Right next door, like through the wall to Global, was the pub. Right? Didn't click. Well, it did click, but I didn't know it was weird that my dad would just take me down for a video. But he would just go down so he could have a pint and stuff. So he'd go have a few pints or whatever, then he'd come in. I was standing alone, 8, 9, 10 years old, in a video shop, completely for about an hour.
This is like a Ken Loach film.
No, but I loved it. This is what I'm saying. I lived in that video shop, man.
The artwork,
because this was VHS time. Do you know what I mean?
Big box.
All the big VHS boxes. I would spend. Honestly, it was like a library to me. And I remember it was like the VHSs came in like a blue sleeve.
Yeah.
Like it was that
and it
really
had the weird
hard
holes
plastic.
in the top of it.
And they were really hard to get out sometimes. Like
I like the noise it made. Do you remember?
Aye, very satisfying noise. Do that again. I just wanted to see if you could reenact it. That was very good. So anyway,
so Jackass.
Sorry, that was a long way of saying that. I got out of the video shop, 10, maybe 11 years old, depending on what month it was. And it's one of those tapes. I've done this a lot if I loved the movie. Rewound, watched it again and again, because you only had it for like 3 days or whatever. And I must have memorised that movie. And like, you're into school the next day, you're speaking to all your pals, and you're talking about all the bits.
So were you familiar with the TV show?
Aye. I mean, like...
And how big were you on the TV show?
Loved the TV show. I liked Pimp My Ride and Cribs.
2002 era.
Aye.
Rough. In the same year MTV produced it. I really liked Orange County, 2002.
Never watched. I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember it.
It's solid. You love Jack Black, so you probably wouldn't be huge on it. But
yeah,
it's the birth of that a wee bit.
Aye, yeah.
But it's.
You know what, I watched a Jack Black movie recently over Christmas. I watched that. Is it The Holiday?
If you are about to slate The Holiday,
and there's a scene, ironically enough, in the video store where he's doing impressions of everybody. Do you remember that?
He's amazing in it.
He's to turn it off, man.
You need to get out this. if you put it, did you watch the film all the way through?
I must have. I wasn't actually watching it. My wife was watching it. I was in the room, bad, zoned out. Anytime Jack Black showed up on my screen, I was just like, oh. And I want to like Jack Black. I like him in certain things. I like Tenacious D because that energy is okay for that. But like, see, like, it's just the same. Just he's so annoying. He's a big man child, isn't he? Just this big Wayne. Like,
he's made a career out of it though, and like there are a few dramatic turns, but he is good at it.
The Jackal was good because he gets killed in that. Aye, that's right. I get shot a lot.
Jackass. So all parties were independently kind of involved with skate publications, sending in material that they hoped to get featured either on a skate video or skate magazine, and eventually that led to Big Brother, and that consisted of like all hands on deck, create this crazy magazine featuring stunts, skating, articles. Wee Man walked the mailroom.
Right, okay, so this is how they all knew each other. This is sort of origin.
This is how it
Jackass
started, basically. Right.
So that's how they all knew each other for that magazine.
Yeah.
And skateboarding. Obviously, Bam was a professional, wasn't he? Or a semi-pro?
Yeah, semi-pro, but he was submitting videos with his brother Jesse.
Well, I know that Bam and Jenna already had a sort of cult following. Yeah. He was a big videotape guy.
With CKY.
Yeah, that's at CKY, and had this group of friends, and they made all these videos, and it was kind of YouTube before YouTube, where it was like all these sort of found videos that he would sell and stuff.
Oh, it was the LimeWire days.
LimeWire, that's it. Aye, that's right. That's how Arctic Monkeys get big as well.
Aye.
Their first album was like all over LimeWire before they get signed. Aye, so they all knew each other. So how did the the idea for Jackass coming about. Like,
it became legit once Spike Jonze became involved. Eventually it got picked up via interest in MTV, and it ran for 3 seasons until censorship eventually killed it.
It's the sort of famous warnings at the start of each episode and the start of this movie.
It raises a couple of questions, Jackass. It's usually in terms of, is this art and is this exploitation? Both meet in the middle, obviously.
I'll answer the second one first. I don't think it's exploitation at all, because it's the thing I've always liked with Jackass. I liked it then, I still like it now, is it's always the people making it that are doing it. Do you know what I mean by that? It's not like one of those practical joke shows where they're pranking the public or whatever.
I think it is art and it is exploit. I think everything's exploitation. As soon as it becomes a subject or you turn the camera on, it's exploitation, but it is art as well.
Yeah. It's definitely art. I mean, it may be a low form of art to some people, like, and it doesn't take an awful lot of talent. It just takes a lot of stupidity and guts, I suppose.
Where is your limit with this kind of stuff? I didn't.
Well, here's my limit. Didn't like Dirty Sanchez. Do you remember Dirty Sanchez?
I admit the Welsh.
It was the copycat. It was the Welsh version of Jackass.
I thought bum fights was vile.
No, but that's a whole totally different thing. Bum fights is an evil thing. That's like, let's have 2 homeless people fight.
Get tattooed.
Aye, that's just doing something to a vulnerable person. Whereas Jackass was a group of pals doing stupid shit, but to each other. It was more gross. I thought that Dirty Sanchez show was more gross, in my opinion. And it never clicked with me. Whereas I think the thing that Jackass has going for it is all the guys, at least back then or in this movie, are really likeable. They seem like a group of friends. It seems like you are their friends. It seems like you're sitting in the room giggling with them. And the way they don't try to hide, they don't try to make it look like a movie. You can see all the cameramen, all the crew and stuff laughing and gagging and being sick in the background.
There's a camaraderie.
Aye, it's like a group. It's like you and your pals, and that's why it appealed to us at this age. We were, well, you're a little bit older than me, but when I was 10, you were, I was 15.
But we did this kind of stuff. We like children's toys with wheels. We went downstairs. We did shopping.
Of course, aye.
Trolley.
But and it was fun.
I like how this looks so much. The early aesthetics, the mini DV, early digital, grainy, fisheye lenses.
Yes, this does not look like a movie. It looks like a TV show on the big screen. To me, it looks like an episode. Like some of the other Jackass movies, like Jackass 3 and 4, do these.
It's so clean.
So clean, which works in some stunts. Jackass 3 especially, it's in 3D, which you would think wouldn't work, but the way they use it masterfully, I think. See that MTV opening with the spaceman and the little laugh? Love that, man. Very nostalgic for me.
Is that embedded in your mind when you think of like Beavis and Butthead?
Well, when I think of this movie, it was also in Beavis and Butthead to America, the movie. The MTV movies little tag at the start was good. So it's the opening, iconic scene. This is probably the only scene in the movie, apart from this scene and the very last scene where they use like a budget, but it feels like a movie. They're using special effects, they're using pyro, obviously a lot of stunt coordinators on this. Trolley's gonna big massive trolley going down, opening credits.
It's really clever though. It's telling you this is bigger, we've got some money this time around. That's what I thought. I've always thought the cart was built for the movie.
Was it not?
Preston Lacey apparently spotted it in the studio lot, and it was from the movie The Incredible Shrinking Woman, 1981.
Oh, so it's a perspective cart, like that big ring that Frodo has in the Lord of the Rings movie. Have you seen that?
Yep.
Oh, that's so smart.
That's
so
cool.
He's walking the scene.
He's responsible for that amazing opening.
Oh, it's an amazing opening. It's so good. It's like, it gets you right in the mood. I didn't see this in the cinema, unfortunately, but I imagine this would have been an amazing intro, like a packed cinema on opening night.
It's got a great build up because of the slow motion,
and people like start like, who is it, Aaron and Dave fought off the side and stuff, so you want to sort of get main characters people like. But they just start punching each other. Bam punches John Huxley on the back of the head. It looks so sore.
I will laugh as we describe a couple of these sketches.
But you can't not.
So I've not watched this, and it's easily been 10 years, I think.
I went round about the same eye. But I'm surprised how much I remember.
This first sketch, when Johnny Knoxville rents the car, it's genius.
It's so genius. But this sketch, I will say this seems like something that would have been in the show. Like, it's weird for your opening sketch just to be a regular sketch.
Oh, there's a couple of duds in this. Like,
yeah.
Certainly.
This isn't a dud, but it just doesn't seem as like, you know, you get that big bombastic, that's what I'm going to use, bombastic opening.
Yep.
With the big trolley and the fireworks and the music, and it just sort of goes into like an episode of Jackass.
I could
Don't
watch.
get me wrong, very funny.
When he insists that they have to pay.
No. Before that, so he gets out the car, he wrecks the car. Obviously, we're not going to go through it scene by scene, it's Jackass, it's an old movie, you should have seen it if you're listening to this. But he wrecks it in the road, and then he comes back, and we're like, what the hell happened here? He's like, I hit a dog. The way he delivers that line, I don't do it justice there, but the way he says,
the two blow-up dolls in the back of the car.
Aye, and him just like, I'm not paid for this.
When he refuses responsibility, he goes outside.
And
he takes both dolls and then runs away. So funny. The fact that he takes the dolls and he doesn't just run. He casually walks, says, I'm not paid for this, takes the dolls and then runs and shouts, fuck you. The Knoxville cackle is one of the most infectious.
He's got probably the best laugh. Not the best laugh ever, but like, it makes you laugh.
He empties his lungs.
Aye. He sounds so happy when he's laughing. And it works, it makes every scene funnier. This ain't only just the first one, but it's like the bowling alley where Bam's going down on the skateboard and they're throwing bowling balls down after him, right? Funny scene. But the thing that I liked about this scene in the bowling alley is like it pans to everybody else, all the customers who are there. Clearly they've not rented a bowling alley, they've just went to a busy bowling alley and just done this stunt, which gives it that sort of guerrilla filmmaking thing as well. And everybody's killing themselves, everybody's laughing, because they've obviously just made a spectacle of themselves in front of a bunch of strangers, but the film could have filmed everybody else killing themselves laughing at them, man. It's just sort of endearing.
Sometimes it's the best scenes, the public reaction.
Yeah, aye, absolutely. There's a few in this movie especially like that.
So I love Pontius, man. He party boy. He's always up for strapping anything to his dong.
Do you know what was funny about Pontius? He was my least favourite. Well, not my least favourite. When I first seen this when I was 10-ish, I didn't like Pontius. But now I think he's my favourite. Watching this back, he's so funny, by the way, and he's so quick-witted as well.
Yeah.
Obviously he's the dick guy. He's the guy that sort of gets naked and does all the stuff. He's wiener. Like, not just in this movie, but in all the other movies. And the party boy stuff. But he's so funny. Like, there's a movie, we'll get to the line later, but there's an alligator bit in this, and he's Bunny the lifeguard. And he says, if any of these gators try it, then I'm going to wrestle them down and have my way with them. It's so deadpan and it's hilarious. Pontius is so great.
Do you like the electric stunts?
Yeah, I mean, this is fine. This is quite funny. Again, it doesn't really work unless you feel how painful it is. This is where I learned the word gooch.
Oh.
Johnny Knoxville taught me what a gooch was. I know what it was, but I didn't call it a gooch.
Tell me what a gooch is.
The gooch is the area of skin between the butthole and the balls, under the balls. It's also called a cleft. Like, see, you can get a lip cleft, which is the space between your nose and your lip.
A nooch.
A nooch. Aye. So, yes, a butt cleft, it can also be called, or a gooch. Like, that was the first time I remember I was 10, so like, this area had not been spoken about yet. You just sort of take it for granted that it exists. So when Johnny Knoxville in this area puts his legs up, remember, right up, and goes, this right here's the gooch, and it's like, that was it. So that was one of those things for school the next day. Going to class, do you know what a gooch is? That's just me talking to a teacher. Just so I can get out.
So this leads us to Preston on the bench.
This is funny. This is just a wee practical joke.
Kinda demeaning, man.
But again, he's doing it to himself. Like, he's a large guy.
Is Preston always in on the jokes?
Oh, definitely. He's clearly in it. He's down for it.
When the old man helps him up and he runs away,
And the cameraman is laughing. who's taping it. And it's exactly what you would do. Like, if that was real and you fell on a park bench, I'm a big guy, right? Not as big as Preston, but I'm a big guy. If I fell my trousers split, I would just run like fuck. What else are you going to do?
It does show you, though, there is decisions behind the filmmaking, because they hold on the reaction of the elderly man that's helped him
running.
They don't follow him running. We go on to the golf carts. This is kind of one of those Scooby-Doo interludes where we do a musical track, you see them just destroying shit.
This, to me, when I seen this at the time, and still now a little bit, looked like so much fun.
This is everything you want to do.
I wanted to do this, get your pals, steal a golf cart and drive about mental. Now, in my 30s, I would break my neck and die probably. Like, because I've got that fear now. Whereas, like,
if I want to scratch that itch now, I'll fire up GTA.
Exactly, and you would do it virtually. But back then, like, see, being young in your teens or your early 20s, you feel invincible kind of thing. Yeah. I can imagine this being the most fun.
I really like these interludes.
Oh, they're great. These sort of help. It's kind of like the tendon of the movie, if that makes any sense.
MTV staples as well.
Yeah, exactly. This is what the show would be. The show was basically just these interludes stacked on top of each other. This golf cart obviously has a really scary moment. It's not scary because we know he's fine, but at the time, the golf cart flips and knocks Phil Lanslot on his neck or his head, and he's out cold. And he even says in the afterwards with an interview, and he was like, I don't remember. I remember going up in the air and then waking up. That's scary. Have you ever been knocked out?
When I went to the Cribs in 2009 at the Barrowlands, I tried to help somebody in the pit, and I got hit in the head, and I was out, totally out.
So what happened? Did you wake up and you were in a different location?
Somebody pulled me out, and I went out of the hospital.
Right, okay. Was that a concussion you had?
Yeah.
Oh God, right, okay. So I don't think I've ever been knocked out that I can remember. But it seems pretty scary, man. But again, he was unfazed by it.
And to think there's no Oscars for stunt performers, it's disgusting.
They're so disrespected, it's crazy.
It's not right at all.
No, it's not.
So this leads us to Party Boy in the store. I want to laugh. The Japan stuff is a bit rough.
The Japan stuff, I can see why they've done it. Obviously, they're like, we're making a movie, we've got a bit of a budget. Let's go to Japan. And you can tell they've only been there for a couple of days and they've just tried to film a bunch of shit. I
laughed a lot during this scene with the store worker. He gets him to try the boombox, but he's kind of obnoxious as well, man.
Well, this is why I said earlier that I didn't. Pontius is one of my least favourites. Not him so much, but he reminds me a lot of somebody that I went to school with who was like this, who thought it was like right in your face. And we kind of tried to walk away, kind of follow you.
Just kind of bothering people.
Aye, and it's funny in this because he's funny and the Party Boy music is annoyingly catchy and good. And the fact that he's in Japan, he's this big white guy jumping about, like, he stands out. It's visually, it's kind of funny. But if it was me and somebody was doing that, I would have punched him.
I would argue the Japan skits get worse as they go on, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, again, what I think, I don't know this for sure, but it just felt like they only had like a couple of days in Japan. They didn't have much planned, so they're just like, let's just throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks.
This leads us to the gator nipple.
This is the scene. I watched this on Netflix, just in case you're interested. This is the scene that I remember. This is like the artwork for Jackass on Netflix, in the UK at least it is for now, but as we said, it changes every day. All I've got in my notes here is ouch.
It looks horrible.
All the stuff with animals always bothered me, and I'm not a big, like, you're a vegan, you're vegetarian and stuff, like, I'm not that guy really. Like, I'm a
There's
meat
no consent for the animals, and
yeah, this one isn't too bad. The biting the nipple isn't bad, but there's other ones.
There's one coming up with a mountain lion, and it just looks as if you're scaring the mountain lion.
Is this one where somebody's dressed up? Is it Wee Man or somebody's dressed up as like a gorilla?
Is it Erin, and it's dressed up as
and he's swiping at it. I'm like, he looks terrified, and it cuts very abruptly. For me, the heckling makes this. Like, see, I don't think the stunt's that great if I'm going across this road, but see, like, Knoxville and the other guys standing and just, like, sort of heckling him and shouting encouragement. This firework wake up was pretty funny. they put the fireworks in their room and they go off. I imagine you would be terrified if this
The
happened in
amount
your
of
life.
dads that went through hell when Bam...
This is what I'm talking about. See the scene where he's in the top of Phil, Bam's dad's in the toilet, and he runs in and he starts hitting him. I mean, it's funny. It makes you giggle. Especially when he rips his t-shirt off for some reason. And it's the slapping noises. He's not even punched him. He's slapped him. And
It's only a shame this is an audio format and you couldn't see how you created that sound effect.
I just slapped myself silly there.
When he rips his t-shirt off, I couldn't breathe for 5 minutes. And I believe the line is something like, you need to stop doing things like this.
That's what noises. This is getting out of control. And he's shouting, like, he's still sitting on the toilet doing his business, and he's shouting, he's like, hey, the boy's losing it.
So, next is Spike Jonze, Knoxville as the old folk. I've never been massive on this.
I love this stuff.
You like this?
Not this particular one in this movie. I think it got better in other movies and in the TV show. I didn't like Dirty Grandpa. Is that what it's called? Or Bad Grandpa? But
Dirty Grandpa is
the Robert De Niro one.
Robert De Niro one.
What's the one that was like...
Bad Grandpa.
Bad Grandpa. It was fine. I seen it. It was alright. But I did like some of the stuff that the old guy's done later. I do like the Spike Jonze going down the hill as if his brakes aren't working. Something about Spike Jonze's voice, his old man voice, really makes me laugh. I don't know what it is.
It's also seen somebody as prestigious as Spike Jonze having fun.
Aye, having a lot of fun. And you know, when they're in the back of the car and they're rapping, I think it's Knoxville, dressing old man, he's rapping along to the... I forget what song it is. It just seems like fun. And I didn't really work in this movie, the old man stuff, although there is an old man bit that I love, we'll get to. But in later movies, I think it became much funnier. See the old man, Knoxville, it's the shoplifter. The scene is kind of funny. He's trying to shoplift stuff, and the guy who owns the shop clearly sees him and spots him. But see when he kicks him out, and he picks up the sign and walks away with this. It fucking kills me, man. It's so smooth.
Knoxville has an innate ability to carry a scene right through to the end. He's good at keeping it going.
Yeah, no, he will not. And I think Knoxville's very intelligent.
Oh, he thinks like an editor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the reason he was doing so much and he'll go so far with a scene like that is because he knows that it's going to look good, and it's going to pay off when the movie comes out. Dave England in the toilet. Right, so I thought this was hilarious when I was 10 years old. I almost puked watching it. But so he has to go to the hardware store and do a shit in one of the fake toilets. I get that on paper that's kind of funny.
When he gets the paper out.
He's cleaning himself for the brown paper bag.
Oh.
What a scumbag move. Like,
showing you the toilet bowl. The crew vomiting becomes a tradition.
Yeah, aye, that's not just in the movies, but in all the episodes of the TV show. There's like, they'll do something so disgusting that you'll see the cameramen and the crew and the sound people losing their shit. 'Cause you have to remember, like, they're in like a small room, or in this case, they're in a minivan.
Can't say they're my favourite sketches with Dave England, but I have a lot of respect for him.
Aye, but should we have respect for him? Because literally he's just taking a shit in public. Like something that you'd ridicule other people for.
This is where we get the continuing gag, another trend in Jackass, shaving the hair.
You see it throughout the movie. It happens to everybody. It's not focused on one person, which I think is good. And I remember, like, when Jackass was about, like, when I was doing interviews and stuff, they always talk about how there's just practical jokes everywhere. You do not get 2 minutes. Like, if it's no this, it's somebody, like, messing with you. Obviously, we see this in future movies where, like, all the porta potties they're using are all, like, rigged to blow up.
Okay, that leads us to one of the, I'd say, targets of the show often, Erin, with the mousetrap gig.
So I don't know if it's a work or if it's real, but Johnny Knoxville really doesn't like him.
Oh, right.
And when they were promoting Jackass 3, or was it 2 or 3? I think it was 3, and they were like, He's like, oh, all the gang's back, and unfortunately that means Aaron needs to come back too. He was such a bitch and he didn't do any stunts. He said no to a lot of things. I think that was the problem. And they were starting to get annoyed with him because it's like, well, everybody's like literally risking their life or willing to embarrass themselves, and you keep on saying no to shit.
This leads into one of my favourite bits of the whole movie, and one of my favourite stunts. It's Rab himself in the bungee wedgie.
Oh, this is hilarious. Still so funny. Like, see the way it doesn't work at first, and he just falls and he just eats shit on the ground.
And knowing that you need to go up the second time. It's them laughing and how long that he just hangs there like Spider-Man.
Like, it clearly does not. He just hangs upside down and they're just pointing and laughing.
There's blood in his underwear, and you see that they're I don't know about the risk assessments of that they do, or
I don't
but
think.
All he's got protecting his penis is some tissue. If you go back and watch it,
I think he just puts like a bandage on it or something with it, and then
we get the gun stuff. I don't like the gun stuff, man.
Right? No, I don't like the gun stuff either. But this is when I knew that he was the bravest one out of all of them. They probably went to everybody else, like Steve won't, and they're all like, "Nah, I'm not getting shot in the chest."
Well, his submissions testing tactical equipment.
Aye.
Stun guns with bulletproof vests. And it's insane.
No, they're not my favourite sketches, but like, I do respect the bravery to like just stand there. And he doesn't flinch. Like, he stands there and just lets himself be shot with a shotgun. Like, it's mental.
I thought the next one was insane. Ryan Dunn kickboxer.
There's two Ryans watching this movie. There's the nostalgic Ryan, me as a 10-year-old laughing at this, thinking it was hilarious, and me now being like, ow. he gets his ass kicked.
He gets a kicking.
He gets properly done out, and fair play to him because he's still trying to make jokes in between it and stuff. But she's going, and that woman, I don't know who it is, like the kickboxer, is not messing around. Like, she's not holding back. She's going for him, and she's just leathering. This was great. Saying that though, when it shows you his body mouthpiece, and they're all just pointing and laughing at it, other than being like, "Are you all right? Do you need to go to the hospital?" Dunn's my favourite. He was always my guy. I was devastated when he died.
He had great quips.
He seemed like the funniest one. Maybe no, it had the best moments or like stunts or whatever, but like he was always so sharp and so witty. Him and Knoxville, I think, were the best at that, like being funny as well as like doing insane stuff. Tropical pole vaulting. Not much to say about this. I did think it was quite impressive how he was able to pole vault. That looked very difficult to pull off. I do like the bit where he pole vaults over the volleyball kit and lands directly in the middle of the net, and everybody at the beach is sort of cheering. But it seems he jumps into that manky pool with the dead cat in it.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I know.
And what is it when he says, why don't you jump in there with a dead cat? And he says, I've been in there already. It's never given any context why he was in there.
So, here's another Japan sketch, and arguably maybe the worst, and maybe the epitome of racism.
Is it racist? The night pandas?
I mean,
it's just running about in a bunch of panda outfits.
I think it's the epitome of racism because why are they pandas in Japan?
I don't know. Again, this is what I said is, without any knowledge or any research into this, it seems like they've just went to Japan and just grabbed what they could. Maybe they've just went to the nearest shop across the road from the hotel and seen panda outfits and just buy them and run about in them.
I kind of think it's a shame if they ever get pulled up for this sketch now, because the rest of them can kind of say they weren't there in Japan, but wee man's kind of fucked.
Aye, him and Preston at the end, like,
yeah.
They obviously get special made outfits. See when they knock each other through, like, it's like a shoe shop and they all jump on top of each other. I'm like, that's somebody's shop. It has to be tidied up, and like he's trying to make a business. Like, hopefully the person will get reimbursed for that. Just be things like that, which you would never thought about back in the day, but now you're like, you just wreck somebody's shit. Rocket skates, so you get to say about rocket skates.
It's good. It's
alright, innit? But like, it seems like one of those things that when you're drunk, you're like, let's put fireworks on your roller skates, that'll be funny. No realising it doesn't work like that.
It leads to a great bit. Roller disco truck.
Loved love this scene. This is one of my favourite scenes. This is another one that when I was watching this at the time, I was like, that looks like so much fun.
It's what you were talking about. It's how elaborate it is.
Aye, because it's not just like, let's put you in the back of a car and we'll drive about. Like,
they've decorated the back of the
they've
truck.
got the music playing, the 70s music. They're all wearing like afros and the gear. They've got their roller skates on. The way there's a particular scene where Preston slams on the brakes and Bam Margera smacks the wall face first. Have you seen it?
Aye.
It looks like the most painful thing in the world, and it just goes down. it hits the ball and then it hits the floor. Like, you don't see him falling down. It's just like, this is brilliant. I think this is so funny.
I think this is a high before a tremendous low with the wasabi snort.
I hated this. The wasabi snort again. Another low Japanese movie. It probably shouldn't be there.
Froze up. It's just disgusting.
Disgusting.
Man.
It's like that. That's funny maybe if you're in the room.
Yeah.
But even then, I was never into
it shouldn't have made the film. Like.
Aye. And all the sort of, I've never liked this in Jackass. All the sort of snorting stuff and eating stuff and like all the disgusting stuff I never really...
Swallowing the goldfish and throwing it back up was...
Didn't like it. Disgusting. That always fell flat for me, those sort of things.
Defend the gong in Japan.
No, I will not. Let's move on. There's no way to defend that. No.
So you spoke about this earlier, this fan jump.
Yes, where Steve-O jumps into the fan.
The to decide to shoot it from the ceiling perspective, down is incredible.
Because you see him coming, he gets bigger, you see him taking out the fan, you also see him landing through the table and destroying the table as well. You couldn't, like, if a stunt coordinator couldn't have made this look better. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not coordinated, it's just, I'm going to jump into that fan for a laugh.
It's incredible.
And it's so, I mean, it looks painful and stupid. And it must have been on a lot of drugs to like think that was a good idea, but like, it looks great. There's really underrated shots in this film.
Speaking of stupid, the April with the alligator.
This was kind of funny.
It felt like you know there's kind of like second take April sometimes. It felt like second take April a wee bit.
Yeah, aye. At first it seemed alright when she first walked in, she's screaming, but then it sort of cuts and it's just like, aye, okay. They had to get her to say the word fuck. That one never really went anywhere. That seemed like the only sort of plot point of this whole thing where Pam's like, I'm going to get mum to say fuck by the end of this movie. And she says it, and they're just kind of like, alright, she said it. Right, can we talk about the... we'll get to it. I've got next the grind reel.
The 50-50.
Quite impressive that he made it all the way down. How did he not destroy his hip, though?
You can hear the pop.
This is what I was talking about earlier. When you're in your 20s and you feel invincible, this is fine. You could not do this today.
He deliberately swings to avoid his tailbone.
Yes, which is, I guess, smart, but by doing that, he's put himself on his own hip. It just looks so painful.
You can hear it even through it's horrible.
Yeah, and even other skateboarders are like, oh man.
Preston gets out of the pool in the next scene.
I didn't make a note on this. I didn't.
That's just
it.
That. Like that's
just
the
he's
gag.
Fat.
His underwear falls. He's wet. He drinks a beer. He gets out of the pool. It's fine. Like
didn't get it. No, for me, I didn't even make a note on it because it left no impression on me. The paper cuts.
I considered skipping this.
I don't remember this really from when I first seen it. I remember them doing it, but I don't remember being that disgusted.
It's the location in which
the webbing. Why would you choose that? And then Steve-O gets it in the mouth. What would you call it? The mouth openings or whatever. Like, why would you do this? That seemed like I would rather do like the crazy stunts, like on a bike going through a glass window or something, or those like crazy over the top, but the ones that get a paper cut intentionally. Paper cuts are the worst.
You're living with that for a few days.
A few days, and it's so annoying. It's not just like sore.
I really did consider skipping past it. We come back to Party Boy, and this is the fortune scene.
Again, that is kind of funny, but I'm also thinking, poor guy.
he's
Your
just
guy's just
trying
being harassed, man.
to get about his day, and it's just, it is funny. It's so good. It's that song, and when I think about
The
it
song's
now,
so
I want
catchy.
to dance and laugh, but
It's such a simple wee beat, but it's just like...
he's trying to get away, the guy, though, and he's getting in
what-
his way and stuff like that.
Aye. I feel bad for Pontius because he must be embarrassed as well, or he must know that the person doesn't want to do it, but he also has to think, well, I need to get good material, or otherwise why am I dressed like this?
We move on to sweaty fat fucks. They think putting padding on. I know I'm sounding like a pure wet blanket, but it's just, it feels done, man. Like,
Saying that, there's some very funny falls in this.
I like when Bam goes 90 miles per hour into the shutter.
Yes, and he just eats shit. He just smacks his face off.
It's great.
And it's funny. There's actually the very final shot of this is a really funny, completely unintentional. You couldn't do it again in a million takes. Where like Bam falls off the half pipe, but the skateboard keeps going. But then it comes back and smacks him in the face from behind.
It's great.
It is so funny. I do think that it was good. I like to see like Tony Hawk and Matt Hoffman. Obviously, the skateboarding culture at the time was huge, man. Like those games had just come out with the Tony
Hoffman
Hawk's.
BMX was amazing.
Yeah, and the Tony Hawk's games are like some of the best selling games of all time still.
And
But this is definitely a product at its time. Like Bam, Tony Hawk, and Matt Hoffman were like huge at this time. Tony Hawk still is, in fairness, but like skateboarding was huge.
and neither exists in a vacuum. They all support each other.
Aye,
But
and
this was
even
a
the soundtrack. I mean, the soundtrack to this movie and the soundtrack of one of those Tony Hawk games. It was like the 2000s, like in a nutshell.
90s, 2000s.
Aye,
huge.
the late 90s, early 2000s sort of skateboarding, sort of, was it? I guess, is it new metal? Was that what it was around about the time?
Well, Tony Hawk kicked off with sort of pop
But it had a sort of
ska.
hip hop vibe
There
to
was
it as
hip
well.
hop, Sublime. It was
It's like hip hop and graffiti as well. A lot
yeah,
of graffiti.
huge.
That sort of tied into the Jackass thing, especially with Bam. He came for that world, so he
Alternative
sort of
culture of the
Aye,
day.
aye.
You had him ties with Bam Margera, CKY. The soundtracks were always loaded.
Oh, they were great, aye, so good.
Andrew WK is the big hit from this one. Old Man Doing Weights.
Yes, aye. That, again, another lot of these interludes. This was fine.
I think it had 0.5 over it, like Jackass 1.5.
Yeah, was there 1.5?
I
Or
don't.
Did they start doing
didn't
that
they start that
one?
with 2.5?
Because I feel like there was a lot of stuff shot for the first Jackass movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure the cutting room floor was full of like. I know that they
Loads.
probably could have made another movie.
Yeah.
Which is what they started doing with the sequels. Right, next, I've spoke to you about this recently. The next scene is the butterbean fight, the boxing in the grocery store.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they called the stunt. This is one of my favourite lines in movie history. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Go for it.
So butterbean again, a period of a sign of its time. Butterbean was huge. He was in Celebrity Deathmatch. This big boxer guy. He was in WWF for a while as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Because they done like a boxing thing like within the wrestling. They had like this thing called Brawl for All. It was like they done like boxing matches, but on the wrestling.
Right.
Didn't work. It didn't last very long because it was shite. But anyway, Butterbean was a big part of that because I think they had Mike Tyson on
Okay.
for WrestleMania 14 and I done huge numbers because Tyson was the biggest star on the planet at that time. So Butterbean was like a boxer who was like a cheap sort of low rent Tyson. But anyway, he was big. He was on a lot of reality TV shows and stuff. I don't know what the shop was, but
It's an open plan kind of.
it's an open plan, kind of like an indoor market kind of idea. So they ring the bell, and then Butterbean just starts wheeling on, which is again, it's like the Ryan Dunn thing with the kickboxer. They don't hold back. So he takes him out of the game first time and knocks Hills on the ground, half sparkled, but you can hear him giggling still, that infectious laugh he spoke about. But he's got like a mouthpiece in, so it's muffled, which makes it funnier somehow. But then he gets back up and he's like, right, okay, round two. And then 2 punches and knocks out, falls to the floor and starts immediately snoring. Like, did you see when he's knocked out? You can hear him go,
Yeah.
it's quite terrifying. But my favourite line, and I love this so much, man, it just makes me laugh. So the EMTs revive him. You can tell his eyes are like, he doesn't know what day of the week it is. And they're stitching him. He's got this big gash in his head. He's bleeding. He's knocked out. His eyes are all glazed over. And he goes, "Is Butter being okay?"
It's
Oh man, it's so witty.
and the paramedic laughs as well. It's really sweet.
Because even the paramedic who's stitching him up was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he just said that."
The next is just my favourite kind of sketch. It's the night getting into the store.
This is so funny. And again, I feel bad for the people in the store. Somebody tries to stop it. So he comes in, but he's got the fact he's got the comically big
Just
joust.
imagine being there.
And somebody comes in a full nightcap with a joust and takes him out and then starts chasing him about.
Did you like the one bystander that's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
And then he looks at the camera and says, "What is this?" Nobody says it to him. We've got the whale shark gummer, but before they do that, jerking off the sea cucumber.
Hey, Jack. It's. Did you hear what's the name of the Wild Boys trainer?
I know who you're talking about. The guy who's got the crazy long hair and the sort of shark tooth necklace.
I like the line about, "I showed them that this can happen and I wish I didn't show
Yeah,
them."
he's like, so what's happened is I've told him that he's do that, so now they're in there jerking them off. And he looks so disappointed with himself.
It is quite shocking to see, man.
It is quite shocking, but like my favourite part of this and the following scene when they're in with the whale sharks is underwater you can still hear Pontius's very distinct laugh.
Yeah.
So he's got the snorkel on, but you still hear him going, It's very Beavis and Butthead. I've got nothing to say though about this shark thing. It's a bit boring.
I didn't. Did you watch Wild Boys?
No, I catched it when it was on MTV sometimes, but I was never seeking it out.
I didn't watch
If it
it.
was on, maybe
No.
I'd catch an episode, but it wasn't very good.
Tidal Wave, you mentioned, I really liked it. I like this type of sketch.
This is brilliant, and they do this a lot in the sort of later Jackass movies.
I don't want to go too much into it, but the giant fan is one of my absolute favourites.
Yes, aye, so
this is Knoxville in front of, it's like in a silo type situation.
Aye, it's basically like a half pipe, like a ramp, like, and it's just all this water's gathered at the top of it, they release it, it falls out a trap door, and it's a tidal wave, so it just takes them out. And the fact that he just disappears out of shot is just so funny.
You then get the reverse and you see the velocity.
Yeah. And it looks so painful.
Steve-O shows off the tattoo of himself, giving the thumbs up on his back.
He hates it so much.
But to say, at least I don't have to look at it.
That is funny.
I was in
That's a great
stitches.
line. Henry Rollins brings so much great energy to this. He's so into it. He's having so much fun.
You're always happy to see him as well.
Aye. And the fact that he's just shouting abuse at him the whole time when they're going over this red bumpy road in a Hummer. Really, really funny.
That leads to the fireworks in Japan.
Yes, aye, so on the balcony, right, so I'm watching this scene and I remember this very, very vividly in the movie, like when I first seen it, and thinking this is hilarious, this is great. Watching them back now, they just seem so drunk. It seems like they're in the hotel, steaming or out their face on gear or whatever, and they're like, let's just put fireworks up our arse.
I really like Dunn on the BMX, and he's strapped to Preston.
And he pulls him back into the cactus.
It looks sore.
It looks so sore, and he's mad about it as well. It's just like, it's a fucking stupid idea.
And the rope catches him under the arms as well.
And he pulls him back right into the cactus. And he's like, I'm trapped in cacti. And he hears Steve off in the distance being like, it's cactus. He's like, it's cacti. We're having that argument, which is quite funny.
More of the old guy in the mobile scooter.
I mean, that's fine, that stuff, I guess.
So Erin makes a homemade snow cone.
I hated this. This wasn't as bad as the paper cuts for me, but I could not watch this.
When he started revulsing, and I think Knoxville shouts, "It's your own pee." Don't worry about it.
Knoxville's so funny. No, like, him peeing isn't bad. Like, him peeing in a snow cone, even like when he shows it and it's got the wee hole through it because it's so warm, I'm like, that's the shot, end it there. But see the fact that the N eats it, then he eats more of it, and then he's sick.
And Dave England runs up, kicks him in the nuts, and gives him a kicking whilst he's down.
I told you.
You really don't like it.
This made me laugh.
That would have been you.
That's my favourite part.
This leads to just another wee break in the action Wee man kicks himself in the head.
I used to be able to do that.
No, you didn't.
I did. That was my party trick. That was my thing.
What parties were you going to, and who were these people
Well,
making you do
parties,
this?
it was me in my room, right? But like, I can't now. But I used to be able to kick myself in the head. Not the way Wee Man does it, when he does it direct up, so like his toes touching his forehead. But I could do it sort of to the side, so at the inside of my foot, like where if you're playing football, the part that you would use to pass the ball, the sort of instep of your foot, I could kick myself with that pretty hard in the face. I used to do it in school to get people to like me. Needless to say, it didn't work.
You should be doing it the new, so I like you.
I know, I should be. Maybe people listening to this podcast will just start to kick myself in the head.
Phil in the toilet.
We've talked about it already.
I cried. It was great.
It's not funny, but it's so funny.
It's when he rips in his hairy,
He's big body, man. Like,
and he's so tired of it. He just
he's not even really fighting back.
Just
this is a
move
daily
it.
occurrence for him.
Move it, bam. Air horn at the golf course.
Oh, I loved this, man. The only thing my gripe about this is it wasn't long enough.
It's just pure dick and dom chaos.
Aye, that. But the guys at the golf course are getting so raging. I thought they were going to get in a fight.
I could have watched more of this.
Aye. This felt like it was something that was in the show, maybe. Or it would have been in the show.
It would have been a better running gag than the shaving of the hair.
I see if they kept on coming back to this.
Yeah.
Right, here comes the scene with the burglars.
I forgot all about this.
I've got a very distinct memory of this guy running down the street. Right, so Bam and Johnny Knoxville come through the ceiling, obviously with a fake diamond heist. They're like, let's get the diamonds. My man is off though. Like, there's 3 people in this office, and one of them, it was the youngest guy, is just fucking out of there, man. And he runs out the building and then runs down the street. What do you think?
He abandons everybody.
But I'm with him. He does,
totally.
He comes back later and he's just like, I seen 2 white guys fight this guy. I was off.
What's he going to do? Of course.
Exactly. Like, but when you think about it, and it's the other 2 people in the office just looking at them like, what's going on? If we're sitting here now recording this podcast and 2 guys fall through your ceiling, I'm out of here. I'm sorry. I'm not like,
you're not looking out for me.
Oh no, I'm out of here. No, you get the cat and run. I'm getting in my car and I'm off.
Thanks, man. We get Ryan Dunn.
Oh, this is the car scene.
The car scene.
This is the big finale of the movie. Then kind of thing. This is like the sort of big
pretty
stuff.
much.
This is
Should it have been the finale?
No, I mean, should it have happened at all? Is another question. Don't get me wrong. The doctor is really cool about it. I like this doctor a lot. See the guy who goes to get the X-ray at first, and he's just like, he's very accepting. He's just like,
He gives him his dignity in case
he's like, you're at a party, who knows what happened, but you've put a car up your arse. So when you go to the doctor, get it taken out. Don't, if you've got a girlfriend, don't tell her. You get a boyfriend, I don't care. Just don't tell anybody. Your friend there knows that's too many people already.
It is a good
that
way.
Is quite funny.
Totally. Yeah.
The doctor is cool about it as I think you could be. There's a really funny shot. I don't know how they got this. Where like one of the nurses, like the old woman nurse, is looking at it and like disgusted, and they've got her on video doing it. It's so funny. What do you think about this? I think when Ryan Dunn's putting the car up his arse in the first place, and he's explaining what he's doing, I think that's very funny.
I like Ryan Dunn a lot, and it's funny. It's okay. I don't think it's. I wouldn't have ended the film with it, but it's good. It's fun. It's fun. We cut to Rip Taylor on a boat.
This is the finale, which is weird. So Joy Knoxville gets fired at a cannon, or
and Rip Taylor's come back for each respective sequel.
Is he still alive, Rip Taylor?
No, we lost him in 2019.
Right, okay, so he wasn't in the latest Jackass movie. I don't remember.
No, part 3 was his last.
Right, okay.
Rip Taylor was great, kind of cabaret style prop humour. He was great in a few episodes of Kids in the Hall. I watched Wayne's World 2.
That's right. That's what I remember him from.
Yeah.
Wayne's World. Yep.
He's great.
And that's it. So
that's it, man. 20 years. What do you think? What do you think of Jackass the movie? Just on its own, review it. Jackass the movie.
As now, like as I watched it last night, I still get a lot of laughs out of it. It does hold up to a certain extent. I don't love it as much as I did, back in 2002 or whenever it was that I was rating Jackass. But I still get quite a good amount of chuckles out of this. If we're doing a coconut rating, 3.5. But the stuff that is in it, there is some gold and there's some really funny moments. What about yourself?
Yeah, Jackass the movie is still great, man. It's just hard to review a series that kind of like self-contained skits. It definitely has some of my favourites, like the Knoxville car rental, Rab doing the bungee wedgie. I like it when it looked like this kind of fucked up image from different mixed sources of material.
Yeah.
That DV kind of handy cam, it made it look so much more dangerous, man. Like, it felt more candid. I think this is a good collection of sketches. The series still means something to me, and I hope I never get so old I find it stupid. I agree with you, man. 3.5 out of 5 coconuts.
Okay, that's good. Jackass 20th anniversary. I still love Jackass. I do. Like, not just the movie, but like the TV series. I say characters, they're real people. Because even though I've never met these people, it is a big part of my childhood.
There's a thing that's kind of unspoken about being a young man, and it's that you do really look up to older guys.
Yeah.
And there is a total idolisation, homoerotic thing about it that you don't really talk about, where you idolise somebody that is into something that you're into.
Yes.
And they're really good at it. And that's what Jackass was. So you still like to check in on them and check that they're doing alright. And I don't listen to Steve-O's podcast, but I wish him well.
Yeah.
Same way every respective member.
If I'm alive in the next 20 years,
we'll watch it again.
We'll watch it again and see what we think as men in our 50s. How about that?
Cool, man. Do you want to roll that trailer?
Let's roll the trailer.
I'll catch you next week.
Good night. See you next week.
Okay, this is it. Walk across the lobby, slip on the glass, let gravity do the rest. It's true, you could break your neck, but it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Bright lights and you're gonna set my soul.
In a city where anything goes.
What's this, $110?
Those are your in-room movies. Afro Horse.
Afro Horse?
You watched it 11 times. It says in the morning you watched The Grinch for 10 minutes and then switch back over to Afro Horse.
And everything is possible.
Honey, kids need ya. Miss, can I have another one of these, please? Oh, sorry. I thought you were a woman.
I am a woman.
6 strangers are about to be given $2 million. The chance of a lifetime.
First one there keeps it all.
It's like a race?
He said race.
By land.
Taxi. Not good. You're fine. You look great.
By air.
I just wanted to say hi to my boyfriend. Did I come at a bad time?
By whatever it takes to get there first.
Squirrel? We're looking for the interstate.
Now they've lost their way.
Oh, they make Cracker Jack pets.
Hey, who wants to go home with the nice ladies, huh?
Do you or do you not know where the interstate is?
This summer.
How about a pit stop?
There's a bathroom in the back.
The latch is broken. Anybody could just come in.
Ain't got nothing the other Lucy's haven't seen already.
Not necessarily.
Make a dash. For the cash. Rat race.